It's February already. It's February 2019. The golf experiment is getting along. I'm on my 14th round in this experiment. I've got to get this done because it was Saturday's round and it's already Monday, and getting into the routine of things, getting into the swing of things, it was very pleasant just to go out. Had a very different mindset. It felt like learning the game all over again, but the experiment is working, that I take very good transitions now between the different modes of play, and I know when I need to have the short game hat on, and then I know when I need to put the long game hat on. So let's go through my round. This was on Saturday, the 2nd February. This is an afternoon Saturday round at Mount Edgecombe, the lakes, and it's going to be off the yellow tees. I went with an 82 gross. It was very hot summer's day with lots of, well, let's call it medium wind. It's a 25 kilometer northeaster coming through, and there's no sign of rain. So having a very wet last 3 weeks, it feels good to get out, and now you're not going to have any casual water lies. I'm also thinking about the greens, which have been taking quite a bit of time to be ready for play, and I'm very inquisitive as to what's going to happen on the first bounce, the second bounce, the third bounce. So Mitch is basically obviously starting off the morning with obviously a range session, because I don't think I have enough time to get the cart and do the pro shop check-in and get to the short game area. I think I would have probably preferred that, because the short game never really got into any routine in and out throughout the day, but we'll get there. There was something that clicked at some point, quite a weird pattern, quite a weird connection, but I had only time to hit a few balls on the range, which was good enough for me. I thought the clubs that were going to be very useful for the day would be the 3-wood and a mid-iron, like a 6-iron, and then hitting obviously the 50-degree. Those to me felt like the clubs that I would use the most. So let's actually see whether they did come out. I was teeing off the 10th, so it's on the lakes. It's a hole that has quite a elevated tee box. You have to actually pick a very specific target that is just right of a fairway bunker, which is sort of in the driver 3-wood range. You can clear it when there's no real wind that's in your face. So with the wind condition as we were teeing it up, it did feel it was going to be a drive that you needed to keep right of the bunker. So I took a driver. Probably should have taken a 3-wood, but I actually hit a very sort of 70% speed type of, let's just get in the round. Let's see if I can keep my head. Let's see if I can go through the different positions of the body as I've been rehearsing throughout the week. And I felt like I gave myself a 7 out of 10, and at least I've put myself in a decent position, about 125 meters to the pin, but I'm on the rough on the left. So I've cleared the bunker, but I haven't found the fairway. So it actually was fading and didn't actually manage to shape it to obviously the safety of the fairway. So I'm now, unfortunately, in not an excellent lie, and I actually hit a 9-iron that should have gone 3/4 somewhere, right of the target, just to be somewhere on the green, and I didn't hit it very well with the side lie, and it was also sitting inside a divot, so it went into the front bunker, awful position, and then I hit a very thin bunker shot to put myself past the pin, and then I also thinned the flop shot coming back, so I was double bogey off the first hole. But I mean, I looked at the situation and said, well, I've just had a bunker opportunity because I haven't really practiced that yet, and I've had a flop shot opportunity from the rough. Let's take advantage of the practice, even though I'm now 2 over after 1 hole. I go on to the 11th and hit a poor tee shot. It should have been a 3-wood, but I was a little bit quick unnecessarily. I think there's just a lot that needs to happen with the breathing, and then also just about to sort of get into some sort of a pre-shot routine. There needs to just be a few, I think, deeper breaths, and then also just consider the fact that you need to have the external imagery as well. So bringing myself back with some breathing, closing my eyes, that is definitely a recommendation, because the driver was hit to not miss right, and I think it was a little bit quick, and the face must have been a bit shut, but it went low left. It was the missed left, and I now have way too much out to attack the second the second green on the 11th. So I got to now put myself within 45 or 30 meters at least to try and up and down, and I actually did that quite well. So the first shot of the day for recovery and up and down complete, but it's coming from a poor tee shot and let's call it a layup of an approach, which not pretty negative in the scheme of things, because now you're 2 over after 2 holes, and now I'm going on to the par 3 where you need to actually give yourself a birdie chance, and I gave myself an outside birdie chance way too short. Maybe could have hit a fuller 9-iron swing. I had a 3/4 9-iron that left me with about 45 foot of a left to right breaker, and unfortunately the result of that is I actually rammed it past the hole almost 6 foot. So it was just, unfortunately, the Synoden greens do release quite aggressively, so I gave myself a little bit too much of a hitting type of putt rather than letting the backswing generate the speed. And now I'm in a situation where I was actually stressing to come back and make the par. So I had a decent par putt coming back. It trimmed the right edge, and now I take a bogey, and I'm now 3 over after 3 holes. And what that does is that puts you into a little bit of a tilt. And on the 13th, where you just need to take a 5-iron and hit something of a cut, just to find a nice little release to the middle of the fairway and give yourself a gap wedge or a pitching wedge to the new pin location and green location. I actually go and hit a 4-iron with a little bit of a, let's call it a flash swing, and I've now found the hazard, which is probably the worst start that I could have sort of come up for myself and probably didn't anticipate. So I take a double bogey on the 13th, so I am now 5 over after the first 4 holes. So that's probably the relaxation factor setting in now. So if you want to look at scoreboard pressure, that definitely just changed maybe just how I was going to chase the afternoon, but I knew now, like, it was on. 2 doubles for the day is unacceptable, and I need to now find, I had a swing, it's just that the time and the decisions of the course management needs a little bit of recourse. So I've taken now a double on the 13th, so already Monday is looking pretty good to go back, sort out the 10th, sort out the 13th, and then I'll also sort out the 6th. Those will be my nemesis holes. So I actually had quite an interesting tee position on the 14th. I hit a very good 3-wood. Didn't find the fairway, but at least gave myself a pitching wedge with the wind sort of assisting off my left shoulder, and I gave myself a very good birdie chance. Unlucky not to get the birdie. And then I went on to the par 5 thereafter, that's the 15th. Hit a very good 3-wood, hit a very good hybrid, and hit a very good 54 degree. So I've now strung 3 good contacts together, and this is actually the ability that I strive for. I was unlucky to miss the birdie. So that's 2 holes that have come by, and I could have been +3 after now 6 holes. So 3 holes to go, the 16th, 17th, 18th. I've now strung at least 3 decent contacts together. And on the 16th, I hit a very good 3-wood, giving myself a 6-iron / 7-iron to consider the position of where the flag was. There was no need to go for the flag. You could just settle for center of the green, and the business there was a 6-iron. I actually completely fell asleep or did something with my routine because I had no sequence, and I ended up actually hitting the hosel and I had absolutely duffed the 6-iron for whatever reason, and that was so unnecessary to happen at that point in the round. But I still managed to save par with a chip in for a par save with the 9-iron. I hit a 3-iron, which was left of the target on 17. It had an opportunity to be the right club, but I just started on a line where the cut was actually avoiding the trouble on the left, and I really would prefer that. But the draw shape, I think, was a better shape on that hole with the 3-iron. It was playing very long from the yellow tee. It was almost a 205 meter par 3, and just to hit 3-iron and be pin high, I'm very happy with that. I took the 3-wood off the par 5 18th. I think that was a good play. I took the bunker out of play on the left and gave myself a hybrid in. Should be making these birdies without any stress, but I actually chipped something that grabbed the fringe way too much and left myself an outside birdie putt that has a left to right break on the Synodon grass, so I missed the birdie chance. So that's 3 birdies that were realistic that are now gone on the front 9, and I've got a sign for a 42 after the front 9. I found the bunker on the first and actually had a 5-iron fairway bunker shot to the hole. It's almost a 165, 167 meter shot into the wind. I put this thing 5-6 foot, and then I missed the birdie right. I could have had now 4 birdies for the day. I hit a 3-wood off the par 5 second and actually gave myself a very good fairway lie to take a hybrid, which I did. And then I unfortunately did not hit my best 54 degree, which should have been something that I hit pin high to the left of the flag and give myself an uphill birdie. But I ended up leaving it short. It rolled off the front of the green, and then I chipped something past the hole and missed the par save coming back. I've now made a bogey for the first time in a whole string of holes, and I've now got to say to myself, well, you actually could have been level at this point in time, but instead I have to settle with the fact that I'm 5 over. I hit a very good 9-iron coming into the third par 3. The number is 150 with the wind sort of helping off the left. It just seems to be a perfect club for when that's the condition, especially from an elevated tee box. I also hit a very decent hybrid tee shot. So the number of tee shots that I've managed to actually pull off, it's in line with what I had pulled off during the week. So definitely the approaches could be a good consideration for practice on Monday. But, short game, I mean, I have chipped in one now, I have put some close, and then I have actually fumbled a few and made some mistakes, but still saved with the putts. Putts not the problem. It's just, I think, the proximity to hole with the approach, which could be definitely addressed. So 3-wood, 5-iron on the 5th, made a very good 2-putt to take a par, and then unfortunately another bad hole, the one that I want to correct is the 6th, because like the 10th and the 13th, you really feel that when you hit a bad tee shot, maybe take a penalty off the tee shot, and then you have to really recover with an approach shot that puts you into a compounding error situation. That's how that number 6 felt for me. Took a double and then actually hit a decent tee shot, just a bit short with the 8-iron on the 7th hole, up and down with a 9-iron, and then went on to the par 5, hit that par 5 pretty well if the medal was the format, because it was the back tees where target does seem a bit smaller, and 3-wood was the right shot. And then I gave myself a 5-iron into the bottleneck of the par 5 8th, and couldn't up and down from about 45 meters. Once again, that first bounce really hurt me, so there is some consideration to put the 60 degree in and maybe leave the driver out. That could be a consideration. Wednesday is got an appointment with some equipment moderators, and that could be a really good thing for me. There could be some really good club selection ideas for the year, and I'll be open to that.